Shocking problem for Carlos Alcaraz before debuting in Doha. World number 1 Carlos Alcaraz said he is still working on the weaknesses in his game even after having won 4 Grand Slam titles at the age of 22, as he returns to action at the Qatar Open this week. Carlos Alcaraz does not relax even after having achieved everything a tennis player dreams of. World number 1, champion of 7 Grand Slams and newly crowned at the Australian Open, the Spaniard arrives in Doha determined to keep improving. In the Qatari capital, where he shares the spotlight with Jannik Sinner as the main attraction of the ATP 500, Alcaraz offered a reflection that explains his competitive mindset. I still see weaknesses in myself. Many players study my game, how they can beat me. I have to be prepared for that, he said ahead of his debut against Frenchman rinderknech. At 22 years old, the Spaniard has already made history by becoming the youngest player to win all 4 majors. However, far from settling for success, he maintains a tone of constant self-demand. I've achieved a lot so far, I've won the biggest tournaments, but I can't allow myself to lower my level, he explained. For him, tennis allows no pauses, maintaining high standards is the only way to stay on top. Doha could offer another final between Alcaraz and Sinner, the 9th between them and the first of the year. The Spaniard does not hide that such a clash would be a spectacle for the fans. It would be incredible, it's the kind of match people want to see, he commented. But he also tempers expectations. The draw is demanding and the early rounds allow no distractions. His rivalry with the Italian, far from wearing him down, serves as motivation. Both maintain a cordial relationship off the court, but on it they push each other to raise the bar. It pushes us to train harder, to push ourselves to the limit, the Spaniard has repeatedly said, aware that each encounter is a trial by fire. In Doha, Alcaraz and his team have set goals that go beyond lifting the trophy. It is not only about victories, but about sensations and evolution. During the preseason he worked on adjustments to his serve alongside Samuel Lopez and his brother Alvaro, small details that can make a difference in decisive moments. My week will be successful if I do things well on and off the court, he said. That focus on the process, rather than the immediate result, explains why he remains hungry despite his resume. The Spaniard wants to understand how his rivals think, anticipate their plans and force them to look for new solutions. With the aim of finishing his career alongside the great legends, Alcaraz is not content with dominating the present. He knows that being number 1 means becoming everyone's target. Unexpected message from Alcaraz in Doha for Sinner. The Spanish player is eager to face the world number 2 again in another final, and points out that these matches are the ones people want to see. Carlos Alcaraz and Jannik Sinner are competing in another tournament where they could face each other once again. Both are playing in the ATP 500 in Doha, and although neither has played their first match yet, there is already speculation about a hypothetical final between the two. In recent years, both have played in the finals of Grand Slams and major ATP tournaments, so facing each other again would be incredible, as Alcaraz confessed in an interview with Sky Sports. It would be incredible, right? I think these are the matches and the finals that people want to see. If I can win and get through all the rounds, then we'll see who reaches the final, said the Spanish player. For now, both Carlos and Jannik will have to win their first round matches against Thomas Macaque and Arthur Rinderknech, respectively. And due to their ranking positions, they would not meet until the final of the ATP 500 in Doha. If Alcaraz wins the tournament, he would extend his lead over the Italian in the ATP rankings, which already exceeds 4,000 points. However, if Sinner is crowned champion in Qatar, he would cut that gap by 500 points. Carlos Alcaraz has an extra day of preparation at the ATP 500 in Doha, where he reached the quarterfinals in his debut last season. He returns to Qatar strengthened by his first triumph at the Australian Open. On Sunday, February 1st, he became the youngest player to win all 4 men's Grand Slam titles at 22 years old. He reappears this Tuesday in his second official event of the season. He faces the round of 32 in Doha against Frenchman Arthur Rinderknech. His main rival for the title, Italian Jannik Sinner, begins his campaign on Monday against Czech Thomas Macaque. The Spaniard arrives at the tournament with his Melbourne homework done. The main objective of 2026 has been achieved. In Doha, we have set some goals, but we're not talking about results. I think more match by match. We'll see later how far I can go. I don't want to project myself too early into the final, he said at the tournament's official press conference. His obsession is to keep improving his tennis. He neither distrusts nor feels satisfied with his 7 Grand Slam titles. I can't allow myself to lower my level, I have to keep taking steps forward. He demands the highest standards from himself. Yes, I've had a lot of success so far, I've won the biggest tournaments, but I still see weaknesses, he said, after having worked on new adjustments to his service motion during the preseason with Samuel Lopez and his brother Alvaro Alcaraz. There are many players who want to catch me. They study my game, look for ways to beat me, how to challenge me. I have to be ready, get inside their minds and understand what they can do against me, said a cautious Carlos Alcaraz, driven by ambition to continue dominating the circuit. The world number one wants to finish his career alongside the legends of the sport, with the big three as a reference point in the pursuit of every record. My week in Doha will be successful if I do things well on and off the court. I want to feel that I'm doing what needs to be done, he declared. Sinner's striking warning to Alcaraz before Doha. The Italian normalized being eliminated by Noel in the first Grand Slam of the year, even managing to identify everything he should have learned from that match. Everyone predicted an Australian Open final between Carlos Alcaraz and Jannik Sinner. However, Novak Djokovic had something to say about that in the semi-finals. The Serbian took his duel with Jannik to a fifth set and at that moment produced spectacular tennis. Such was Noel's physical and tennis level that Sinner was overwhelmed in a match situation where, in principle, he had every chance to win. Weeks after that encounter, Jannik has recalled how he experienced his first defeat in 3 years at the Australian Open. Far from reproaching himself for the result, the Italian says he took positives from it. The defeat against Djokovic taught me many things. It was a great match, both for me and from him. I had my chances and sometimes things don't go as one expects, but that's sport. Now we are changing small details on the court and these take time to become normal, but I've had good feedback. We mustn't forget that losing sometimes is normal, Jannik confessed to the media present in Doha. The Italian insists that it is simply a situation that can happen. I experienced it in a very normal way. I'm 24 years old and I just want to play good tennis anywhere in the world and that's it. Sometimes losing is fine. What I've done in the last 2 years, together with Alcaraz, has generated a lot of attention. It simply happened as it happened. Now let's try to get back into rhythm, feel the pressure of the tournament again and see what happens. Sinner arrives at the ATP 500 in Doha as one of the main contenders for the title. It should be remembered that he would only face Alcaraz in a hypothetical final, although his chances of gaining points by advancing through rounds are greater than the Spaniards. The demanding problem Alcaraz faces in Doha, the entire tournament without rest. Alcaraz is already training and looking toward Doha, the next objective on his 2026 tennis roadmap. After reaching glory in Melbourne, becoming the youngest player in history to win all the Grand Slams, he decided to take a short break. He withdrew from the ATP 500 indoor in Rotterdam, where he was defending his title from last year, and moved his base camp to his native Murcia. Family, friends and tennis. According to Ok Diario, Alcaraz has been training in Doha since last Saturday. His debut, against rinderknech, is expected next Tuesday the 17th, which sets up a no-race scenario for Carlitos. It should be noted that the tournament runs from Monday the 16th to Saturday the 21st of February, with the final taking place on Saturday. Debuting on Tuesday instead of Monday, as he did last year, forces Alcaraz to play 5 consecutive days without rest if he reaches the final in Doha. Alcaraz's hypothetical path to the final, where he would presumably face Sinner, is not an easy one. In the next round he would face Valentin Royer or a qualifier, Wednesday the 18th, in the quarterfinals on Thursday the 19th the powerful Kachanov, in the semifinals on Friday the 20th Medvedev or two-time tournament champion Andrei Rublev, and the hypothetical final against Sinner on Saturday the 21st. 5 days without rest for Alcaraz in Doha. Alcaraz arrives liberated in Doha. When Djokovic's forehand went long, everything made sense for Alcaraz. He dropped to the Rod Laver Arena floor and lay there with his arms open. Carlitos had been picturing this success at the start of every season, and now he had it, on his 5th attempt.